Welcome to Squad, your favorite source for everything esports and gaming. I'm Lisa, and you know we got your evening entertainment locked and loaded. If you thought last night's Unmuted was spicy, well, you guys just wait, because Marissa and Brody are at it again, and they are not holding back. Tonight's Esports in 30 is a special one because Brody's main bae Lawler is calling in to talk about Rocket League. But first, it's time for a Rank It. Grab the popcorn because we're talking about the top 5 best video game movies.
Now it's time for 5 best video game movies ever made. Coming in at number 5 is Resident Evil. When it was released in 2002, it was a huge departure from the plot of the video games on which it was based. Gone was the tense horror, replaced with plenty of action. Turns out, it accurately predicted the future of the franchise. Looking back, it isn't as bad as some of the other video game movies out there, which says a lot about the quality of these movies in general, but Resident Evil is still good enough to make this list. Sure, it's not scary, but the action is decent and there are a few memorable scenes. Next up is Tomb Raider. The newest video game movie to come out is also one of the better ones. This reboot of Tomb Raider stars Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, with the film being an adaptation of the 2013 Tomb Raider game. And while it's not an entirely faithful retelling, it's a pretty good action movie by itself. It's also leagues better than the Angelina Jolie movies, which wasn't a very high bar to overcome. At number 3 is Duncan Jones' fantasy epic Warcraft. Say what you will about Warcraft, it's the best looking video game movie ever made. It's also overly complex, uses way too much CGI, and tells the story of everyone's least favorite Warcraft game. But despite all of this, it is an epic film that is captivating to watch. Plus, it still makes for a good movie to watch on a rainy afternoon, as long as you don't think about it too much. Coming in at number 2 is the very first Persona 3 movie, Spring of Birth. This adaptation of the classic PlayStation RPG is a gorgeous and faithful treatment of the source material. It's also greatly helped by the fact that it's animated. Imagine if they tried to do a live-action adaptation of a game where teenagers shot themselves in the head to summon demons. My God. Though it's only in Japanese with English subtitles, it stands out as the king of animated video game movies. And now our number 1 video game movie is Persona 3 The Movie Part 2. Nah, I'm just screwing with you. Actually, it's Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal Kombat movie is the only video game adaptation to actually be a good film by itself. It keeps things basic, focusing on the 3 core fighters that make up the tournament and making sure the fights are well choreographed. And it succeeds in spades. It doesn't have a complicated script, and the acting doesn't become truly awful as a result. Plus, it includes numerous references to the video games that don't detract from the film itself. When it comes to this tier, there's one clear winner: Mortal Kombat.
Combat begins.
Welcome to Unmuted, where we got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and the spiciest memes. I'm Marissa Roberto.
And I am Brody Moore. Producer Tyler has 2 minutes on the board and topics right there at the bottom of your screen. Now, one of us may get out of line and just need to shut the other one up for about 30 seconds, so we have a trusty mute button to do just that.
Yeah, that's real. Of course, we love it when chat calls us out when we're wrong, so don't be shy. We can take it. Let's start this off with a new story, a fantastic story. We're going to dive into our top story with everyone's least favorite subject.
Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Okay.
U.S. Senator Josh Hawley announced yesterday that he would be introducing a bill banning loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in games played by minors. The bill specifically cites Candy Crush as an example of predatory transactions. The Entertainment Software Association released a brief statement stating that they look forward to showing the senator how existing tools and information already allow parents to lock these features. Okay, so Brody,
yes.
What do you think of a government body trying to protect kids from predatory loot crates?
Oh, you know, I'm okay with it to a degree, I suppose. I agree. I guess we'll find out. The real big issue with the government body is that if they're just going in without a division that is a gaming division, they likely know nothing about gaming and how these things work. So it sounds like they're going to try to work through it. They're actually going to try to be logical about this instead of just saying, ban it, we don't need information, ban it. Because they're right, there are tools. And as an adult, I do like to buy crates sometimes because for me, I can do that. I have control over my own money and what I do with it. But I'm an adult and I can make those decisions. But there are games that are accessible to kids, and kids do play games that are rated M. And they can get into the gambling with their parents' credit cards. So there is a problem with young people gambling, but there are tools to make it very evident what they're getting into, especially if you're an adult.
Yeah, that's true, but I think there is a case to be made for the fact that, you know what, some parents actually don't know what their kids are getting up to on their devices. They don't know the loot, they don't know about the loot crates, they don't know how much money they're putting on their credit cards maybe, and that's been
So should it be less of a ban and more of just like a PSA to parents? Like, hey, this is in your games.
Yeah, but that's already kind of been out there, right? Like parents should know about it. Some parents don't, obviously, and maybe this has become a problem. Maybe they've actually, maybe these are the parents that have contacted the government being like, yo, what are you going to do about this, because this isn't right and this is not okay, and they don't actually know how to use these locks in the game. So I think that if there's an age restriction put in place for these games with loot crates, and you have to actually say what your age is before you jump in, then the lock goes on it.
That websites that ask you your age we're all truthful on that. Yeah.
I am always truthful when it comes to locking in my age.
I highly doubt that. Even now, I highly doubt that.
You're right. I actually put a fake age on my Twitter account too.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, I might say that I'm younger than I actually am.
Yeah, we can't trust adults. We can't trust the children.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know what the best answer for this should be. I do like that the government is taking note and is maybe looking at these things that minors should not be getting into. They should not. This is a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game of gambling.
2 minutes is
play.
up.
Oh.
And Tyler wants us to talk about something else. So we're going to do that. Over in China, Tencent has suddenly pulled PUBG from mobile devices and replaced it with a game called Game for Peace. It's pretty much exactly the same as PUBG, though it's apparently about the Chinese Air Force. Instead of dying, people will kill you and then wave at you and politely drop a loot crate. You may be asking why Tencent made this move, and while the publisher isn't saying anything, here's a simple fact. PUBG was not monetized in China, while Game for Peace is. So that may answer all of your questions right there, but it is a little odd that and abrupt that all of a sudden, why not monetize PUBG? You know, why does it have to be this one? I mean, go. And then I'll put my piece in.
I'm just confused as to why it had not been monetized this entire time, especially in China, because I'm thinking this whole time that it definitely was monetized in China because that's where they're making most of the money. That's where most mobile games are played in the world.
Huge market.
Yeah, China. So this is surprising that it's just happening now, but obviously it's all about the money, baby. So.
But why not PUBG?
Well, because maybe they can't market it to kids. I'm assuming they can't market it to kids, right?
That's true. We need to sell loot boxes to kids.
With the violence. So yeah, full circle now. Let's get money from kids. Because remember, that's where they're getting all their money from. It's the kids with the credit cards and their parents. They don't really know any better. They just think they're spending like 99 cents here or there, but it adds up. Of course, end of the month, when you get your bill, you see what they get up to. You test. But no, it's obviously apparent now that they were not making the money. It's time to make the money. Let's market to children. And you said there's also going to be like it's not shooting like bullets.
Like
it's shooting.
Paintball.
Yeah, paintball.
Yeah.
So they definitely can market to kids now.
Well, not kill someone. When you hit someone with your paintball, they wave and say, here's a loot box. I'm going to leave the game for you.
Okay.
No, I mean, I don't think it was simply that. I mean, like we do know, without diving into the politics at all, but that companies are generally state-owned, right? So a chance for them to be able to promote the Air Force obviously is a little more attractive than being like, okay, here's an outside company with PUBG with just random battles around the world. Why not make this relevant for our people and make money off it at the same time?
Yeah, I think the money play came in before the relevance for the people thing, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. They could have made it PUBG monetized.
No, they can't, because they can't market to kids. We've just been over this.
I'm not going to play it.
Shh, quiet now. Over in the LCK, Hanwha Life Esports jungler Mujin has been fined nearly $13,000 and will undertake 48 hours of community service over the comments he made to female fans. What were those comments, you asked? He contacted underage female fans, attempted to meet with them, joked about beating them up or killing them, and admitted to having record of violence against women. The jungler apologized in a statement, but some are saying that his punishment is too lenient. First off, what the hell is wrong with some people?
Yeah,
Number one.
so-
Two, Brody, what do you think? Do you think he got off too easy?
We can't really swear here, so I just have to say, what the frig? Like that's
Okay.
frigged up.
Yeah, okay.
Like what the frig, dude? Like,
All right,
like
we get it.
that's so dumb. Like why? Like he claims he's joking. You have to read the room. I believe that there is nothing off the table when it comes to comedy, but there are some people that certain jokes won't work with, even if you're joking. You got to read the room, and that is not coming off as joking. Like that is not right.
Whoa.
That's why I said even if you're joking,
Brody.
which clearly
off
is not.
Off the table, 100 off the table is violence against women. Okay, there should not ever be jokes made about beating up women or having that should not ever come into play ever because of all the violence against women that currently happens in this world every single day. Okay, so
like
there should be no jokes
between
about
you
this
and me,
ever, especially in this
Between you and
culture.
me, we make jokes about that all the time, but that's okay because it's you and me. We have that camaraderie. We know we're joking, right? But we know that's a serious issue elsewhere. He doesn't know these people. That's just going to make it worse. You should not be making those jokes. I'm with you. This is wrong. This is bad. This guy shouldn't be playing anymore.
He definitely should not be
This
playing
guy should
anymore.
not be in this. Like a
100.
fine is stupid. Community service is not enough. This guy should be out
Absolutely
of there. I don't know what laws it could fall under, but like that is inciting violence. That could be prison time. That is not cool.
No,
I'm
it's
with
not.
you. That's cool, but
Yeah, it's not.
what
You're
I'm
right.
saying is even if he was not lying about joking, that still ain't right.
No, of course not.
But he clearly wasn't joking because he admitted to it.
He did. Obviously, this is a problem that we're seeing in real sports as well, like sports. The NFL has a massive issue with this, just a lot of domestic violence cases that come about. And then some of these guys still get to play when the season comes around. Like, it usually happens in the off season. Like, it's so freaking messed up. I don't understand this world, and I don't understand why people continue to behave in this way. Like, I'm not a counselor. I don't know how these people can seek help. I'm not sure what exactly they need.
But they need to.
They need you need something. If you know someone or know a friend of a friend who behaves in this way, my God, like
Tell him to smarten up.
I don't even know what to do. That's the thing. That is the actual issue here. Is that we don't know how to help.
We're not doctors or psychologists, so we probably won't come to a conclusion right now. So let's lighten it up a little bit. In lighter news, Fortnite Season 9 launched today, and a group of leakers have already uncovered what looks to be the next crossover event. Data files describe a limited-time game mode called Wick's Bounty, which is likely a reference to the John Wick movies. Considering that the third film in the franchise comes out next week, it's likely that we'll hear about this potential crossover soon.
Okay.
Now, you're like, I don't care about this. But John,
What?
seriously.
Why are we talking about this like right after a violence against
Right?
women
I didn't
topic?
write it.
This
I didn't write
is
it.
a terrible sequence of events. I blame Tyler. What? I do
didn't
not care.
write this.
I could give a flying F about
But
this.
we do need to lighten the rest of the day.
Oh my
so
God.
what other crossovers do you think would be really good for putting into Fortnite? I love John Wick. They've already had John Wick. But what other crossovers would you like to see?
Oh my God. I'm
How about League of
I'm
Legends?
gonna murder you, friggin' Tyler. Oh my God. What do I want? Oh my. Now Tyler's telling me, oh, but violence against men is okay. Tyler, that is inappropriate.
This is going everywhere.
No,
Talk about Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Talk about Fortnite.
Oh, look who's sipping the epic Kool-Aid now. Brody, he wants to talk about Fortnite. I wonder what happened. Let's see, interesting crossovers. I don't know, a new Octane car inside the Fortnite game. I'm sure Brody wants to see that.
I don't know what I want anymore.
What do you want in Fortnite, Brody?
Sure, cars in driving around Octanes in Fortnite. Do we need another 30 seconds on this, or can we make the buzzer stop?
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Time's up.
Okay.
It's time to move on to clip it with streamers. Our first clip comes from Sam Litter, who decided to stretch his vocal cords for this awesome impression.
Look at that. Can you believe that? Yeah. Look at that. Look at these guys, these scrawny little battle droids with their skinny little arms, and they don't have any good cardio to back it up. And they're hanging out with their little girlfriends. It's right. These scrawny little battle droids.
That's funny.
One of my best buds. He'll go on stream. Wow, What is this?
I'm just kidding.
Anyways,
I love you.
he'll go on, and it's really fun to hear that on the other side. But he'll do the Arnolds, he'll do Yoda, he'll do like Scooby-Doo,
Oh,
and
nice.
just while he's streaming, jump into comms. And it's one of the funnest things to lighten a mood because you know sometimes you get in a competitive match and people are just a little too hardcore, a little too try hard.
Oh my
and
goodness. And
that lightens the mood instantly.
Oh yeah, going on anything CSGO online, my God, is it ever toxic. If someone comes in there with an accent, the best thing ever. So now I have to ask you, what?
No.
What?
What's your Arnold? Can you do it?
It's not a tumor.
It's not a
It's not a tumor.
Get to the chopper.
Get down, get to the chopper. Get down. That's pretty good.
Sure.
What's yours?
Yeah, I just did it. If you didn't hear it, I guess
do it
it's
again.
too bad.
Give me another line. Go!
Get to the chopper.
Yours is weak. That's not good.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it was good.
Okay, whatever.
That's why I tried to get you to do it.
Our next clip is from Miss Gibb, who got a little shy when Maya decided to call him out.
I don't know that there's I can't think of anything consistent. I don't know.
Tell the chat. I asked her, what's the meanest thing you've ever done?
Stop, Matthew.
Don't call me Matthew. Don't call me Matthew in front of my friends. All right? Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Aw. You can't. You don't want your real name online. It's dangerous. Now everyone's gonna stalk him.
I don't think that's the case.
Matthew. It's like when your mom calls you, but your middle name has been included in that. Oh boy.
What's your
You know
middle
you're
name?
in trouble.
What's your middle name?
I'm not gonna tell you that.
Oh my God, I need to know right now.
Why would I tell you that?
Chat.
What's your middle name?
Make him say his middle name. What is it?
What's your middle name?
Antonella.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you.
What is it?
William.
Aww.
But people used to call me Bill in school. And no offense to people with the name Bill, but as a 5-year-old, I did not want to be called Bill. Okay. So when they found out, for a while, kids have ADHD, so it's like they forgot quickly. But I was Bill for a little bit.
Aw, Bill. I love this. I'm gonna call you Bill from now on.
No!
Let's spam Bill in chat right now. It truly is the best time of day. We scroll the Twitters to bring you all the things the pros bless us with on their timeline. Sometimes tweets are sugar and spice and everything nice, and sometimes they're paid for. Like this one from Monte Cristo. It's about time someone created a proper women's wear line for gamers, and Ateo has done it. I love the launch video they made with so many of the women who work in esports and streaming. Get it here.
Got a story to tell. It's been hard on us all. Communities to support us, but quizzing us cause they trolls. We all started from nothing, and together we're special. Wish I could say thank you to Twitch chat, cause they are my angels. Games taught me love, games taught me patience, and one taught me pain. Now I'm so amazing, I've won and I've lost, but that's not the lesson. The game's what I love, and stream is my passion. And for that I say thank you, games. Thank you, games. Thank you, games.
Okay, Brody, the question here is, how do you feel about the term gamer clothing?
I don't know if I feel. Right, that?
I'm just confused. Okay, there's a few, you know what? I don't want to salt on the actual creation of that video, because I bet you so many people that were making it had so much fun. And I do know a few of the girls in the video, they're lovely humans. All of that, I support you 100. The video is it's a little cringe.
Okay, yeah, I would say it's not the cringiest thing I've seen, but it's definitely near the, I don't know, it's out of 10, it's like a 6 to 7, it's starting to creep up there.
It's there.
I don't mind gamer clothing being again, directed at gamers, clothing being designed for gamers, but gamers really don't dress that different than regular people because we're people. So I don't quite get it. The jerseys, sure, but the rest of it's I can just, buy clothes from somewhere else.
Well, even like, yeah, any like sporting goods store, like if you want to be comfortable while you game, it just doesn't really make that much sense to me. I'm also just wondering how this got bankrolled. Like, I'm wondering, you always got to think of like the money, right? So I'm wondering if Monte Cristo is an investor in this company or he owns some of it, because obviously this was an ad tweet. And how many other people are bankrolling
Did
this?
he hashtag at it, or was that sarcasm?
No, he hashtag at it, and that was real. I'm pretty sure it was real. So, and also all the comments under that tweet were like, "Are you serious? Yo, that's a yikes."
Yeah, because the last time we saw clothes directed at females, that didn't go well either.
No, this one's a little bit better.
Yeah, this better, but still weird to tell them you gotta wear this.
Yeah, I mean, let us know in chat what you think.
While we move on to our next thought, because we don't know what we're thinking. Our next profound thought comes from Smash Bros. Melee Pro Zane. My dad. Look, Zane, Marth. I love it. It's just the simple. There's no rest of the costume. All he has is a sword. Now you're Marth. You might not understand fully what the game is, but at least he's trying.
Like, has your dad ever just like done some kind of Rocket League reference? Be like, look, Brody.
The greatest is just when he's talking about it, like about me to other people. He always like says like, I'm like this world famous guy, and I'm like, not quite true, but I really do appreciate how much you care about this. And it's not the RLCS, it's the RCLS.
Aww. Papa
To be fair, I did get tongue-tied when the RLCS was first announced, saying RLCS too. So I don't blame him that much.
Daddy's little boy. Our last profound thought is another one from the Smash community, but this time Ultimate Snake Vein MVD says, I had a dream both my arms were broken and one cast was blue and the other one was red and people called me Joy-Cons. I've never been so shook, waking up, also happy and smiling in relief.
Why would you...
Brody.
Why would you tweet that?
Brody. So, I need to know that what does Professor Science have to say about that dream?
He wanted likes on his tweets. So he made a good tweet. And why would you tweet that? Now people are going to call you Joy-Cons. You just gave yourself a Bill nickname. You just ruined yourself.
Now you're Bill. No, but seriously, how can we decipher that dream? Is it still your theory of you can't move?
He plays way too much Smash Brothers, so that's all that infiltrates his subconscious. And it tries to recreate the things it knows, which is Smash Brothers.
And also, your body is, what did you say?
Oh, paralyzed from that. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with that. Also, he may have Joy-Con arms one day.
He said he couldn't move them. He said he couldn't move them, right?
Oh, yeah. That's because they're Joy-Cons, and Joy-Cons don't have nerve endings. Let's move on because it's time to get to some crowd control. This is where I find things that makes Marissa hate me more, like every single day. Let's get things started off by gaining some perspective. We know the backgrounds of Smash Bros. Levels get prettier every new game, but did you realize how big the maps actually are? Kaylon hits us with that view. I think you'll actually like this one.
Okay, let me see.
You're lucky. So that's them smashing down in the corner there. Do you see them?
Okay,
just tiny down there.
Oh
that's huge! They're massive! Jesus Christ! Like, that's why there's so much input delay on this game.
No, come on. This can't be, that's not real.
Huh?
Is this real?
Yeah.
No.
These are the maps. These are how big these maps are.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do this?
What do you mean?
Why would they make the maps so big?
To make them look good.
Yeah, but
Marissa, do you understand how game design works?
Yeah, but you
gotta make people attracted to your game.
Yeah, but you're just playing on a stage, though. You can just make the stage.
Well, then what's behind it?
It doesn't matter, because you're just focusing on the stage and playing on the stage.
That's how you don't realize how big it is. Now that makes me want a Smash Brothers Battle Royale, though.
Oh, yeah, 100.
That
Maybe that's what they're setting it up for.
Huh?
Maybe that's what they're setting it up for.
Do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I doubt it. I mean, everything is Battle Royale nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see that, though, for the scene. Why not? Like, have a little something. Maybe somebody can mod it because of the maps like this.
Someone get on it. Please.
Yeah, can you guys please?
I want to play that.
That would be amazing. I know everybody likes graphs, so let's do another one on the screen. This time, we're comparing annual units sold for all video game consoles. Okay.
So the Atari
Let's see.
runs its course for a while. I'm waiting until the PlayStation comes out, because that's going to just dominate.
Yeah, oh, I love these so much.
Actually, it's insane how long the Atari was going for. All the way up to, like, the 90s? When did it fall off? Nintendo, just dominating.
Yeah.
Did you see any?
Okay,
You
here's
see
the thing,
anything.
though. I can't actually see.
Okay, so here's the PlayStation coming to the market. The Xbox actually doesn't last that long, but it made me realize how much of the market Nintendo dominated. Like, including their handhelds. It's actually insane.
Okay, and then the PS2 obviously crushed for so long. And then do you remember when it had like the lighter version?
Look,
and so many people purchased.
All the way up until 2010, the PlayStation 2 is still being sold. And there it is, it's kill off in 2013. That is insane. And of course, at the top of the market is still Sony with the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
But Nintendo, one thing a lot of people didn't realize is like, they're like, oh, Nintendo's dying, the Wii U sales sucked.
No.
They had the entire handheld market. Like, they owned, like Sony tried. Sony tried to get into that. It just did not work.
Yeah, the Vita was still something special. I really liked my Vita, and I still held charged like
I know, the Vita was
later.
sick, but there's no games for it. That's the problem.
I know. There are a few good ones, though. It's just like, and then people usually get surprised when they see Microsoft so far at the bottom, but Microsoft, you have to remember that they only really sell consoles on this side of the world. Like, they only really sell, their bulk sales happen in North America. So Sony is 100 worldwide and does a lot of their selling in Asia. So, no, it just makes sense. Like, that graph, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, all those numbers. It's kind of like right on the money. Right?
All right.
Exactly what we assume.
Well, I want to get to a post now that will make you hate me. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm being nice to you today. Our last post is just something relatable. There are so many things we all do in games, but maybe don't think about, like looting empty barrels in Skyrim. Me, looting in Skyrim. This container's empty, bruh. Me. I doubt that. I'm going to check anyways. And then when there's nothing there, surprise Pikachu face. What? There was actually nothing in there? There's so many like gamer OCDs that I do. Like one is like you hold all your most powerful weapons and like potions and stuff to the end. You're like, I won't need this for a big battle later on. I'm gonna need this. And then you still don't use it. Or like you go down one path in a cave, you're like, this could be the actual path. I'm gonna go see if there's ammo this way. No, it turns out that's actually the right path. So you gotta go all the way back, get your ammo looted up, and then go the right way.
That's very specific with the things you do. I feel like I just need to check every like litter bin in Pokemon, in Stardew Valley,
sometimes
in like
there's TMs hidden.
And sometimes there's TMs hidden, exactly. You want to go check, but in Stardew Valley, it's mostly just garbage, and then somebody who's walking by is like judging you for just picking
just
garbage.
Like picking garbage.
Yeah, you get fully judged by the townspeople, but there might be something good in there. You never know. It's usually garbage.
Marissa's a garbage picker.
Love you. That's all day for me to remember that you can always hit us up on our socials. Just say hi and send us stuff that we might react to. Someone type in !boy socials right now so you can see all of our channels. We'll see you next time.
He knows the cycles, he knows it all.
I've got it now. Fever, fever.
Oof.
It's tough. That timing. Clean. Perfect. Don't be! This is this is hard. This is it. This is when it gets tricky. Oh. Oh, here it is. The 5 fuel. Okay. We're so close.
Oh, you got it. You get invincibility frames too, so I don't think that.
Okay. So you have to press forward.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's super weird.
You have invincibility frames. You're not invincible with fall damage.
Retro games look simple, but they were actually very complex. Now, if you want to catch the whole VOD of us struggling to get through Donkey Kong Country, you can find it on Twitch, where you'll also find a subscribe button to get exclusive emotes and badges. Now, just in a bit, Brody and Nick will be calling up Lawler to talk about the RLCS, but first, let me get you caught up on the top gaming stories in Reported. According to a report from Fomos, former SKT T1 jungler Blank will be returning to competitive League of Legends, but in Japan of all places. The report doesn't state which team he'd be joining, only that he is set to play in the LJL region for the 2019 summer split. If the report is true, this would be the second non-Korean team that Blank will play for. He started his career in China playing for EP Carries, before returning to Korea and joining SKT as a sub-jungler. While on SKT, the team won the 2016 World Championship and even made it to the finals of 2017 Worlds. But as we know, all good things must come to an end. Blank left SKT in November to take a small break. So, if the report proves to be true, the LJL better be ready for some sick Elise cocoons or Gragas barrels. Respawn Entertainment announced this week that Apex Legends' hotly anticipated Season 2 Battle Pass will be revealed at this year's E3. EA confirmed in an earnings call that Season 2 will launch before the end of the fiscal quarter in June, meaning we'll likely get a release date and specific details at the EA Play event on June 7th. Respawn has been teasing a lot of changes for Season 2, including new legends, skins, and possibly significant changes to the existing map, which is a good thing because players have been unhappy with the state of Apex for a while. Many are disappointed by the slow pace at which new content is released, and the Season 1 Battle Pass was widely viewed as underwhelming. We'll see if Season 2 can bring on another wave of Apex when we hear more details early next month. The MDL Disneyland Paris Major is well underway in Dota 2, and we've already seen some pretty shocking eliminations. Complexity Gaming, Mineski, Beast Coast, and Team Empire have all fallen, but at least those teams lost to competition that either outclassed them or had similar skill levels. The first upset comes courtesy of Pain Gaming, who eliminated Chaos Esports Club in the single elimination rounds. Chaos was considered the best team in South America, but Pain managed to pull ahead thanks to some key picks. But that elimination paled in comparison to Fanatics, who lost to Keen Gaming in a quick 30-minute match. Keen has hung around the top of Chinese Dota all season, but Fnatic is one of the 5 teams who have already qualified for the International, making their last place finish very surprising. The major is only halfway over, and we'll find out who the champion is when the final match airs this Sunday.
His mark couldn't do it. Speed with some time, going for a dribble here. Air dribble, the flick, and he finds the upper 90!
AJ, this could be it, actually. AJ, a lot of twists. What? Wonder!
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another Esports in 30. You know the drill. Today's Rocket League. I'm Brody, and this is Nick, and with the last week of league play done, I am getting stoked for playoffs.
Seriously, man. They've got a weird format this year, but I'm into it. I'm excited. We gotta know who's gonna go to the land.
Yeah, dude, page playoffs, it's gonna be weird, but we'll talk about that later because right now we gotta get into it too because we have not only a dope guest Lawler calling in, but some equally dope highlights from the North American Rocket League Championship Series.
Yeah, they're on defense right now, but they were able to stop that first early pressure. They won't be able to stop this one.
But Typical comes in quickly, fills in the gap, finds Sathu, finds the shot, a nice save, but here comes more pressure from AXB. Looks for the pass back when in. Typical finds the pass quickly, looking for the shots himself. Carries it, he's got a little bit of boost to work with here. Gets the fake under one, gets the carry, but Torment, the wall of a defender, gets it away. Now Dustin with the pressure. Look at that response. NRG is up by 2. He's absolutely saying, oh, Garrett G with the fake kickoff, the flick over the top, make him feel bad.
Up the back wall, he beat all of them, and it might be free for Garrett G. He'll make Squishy miss.
Can he get it off to his teammates? Gets it onto the wall, keeps it trapped against the ball, hits the post, and it goes in from Fireburner. Insane play.
Center ball, AJ. Self-pass, centers it. Chance for a Wonder, and Wonder gets to it first.
They're really stressing right now and feeling it in this match.
Illusion, oh my goodness, Illusion!
AJ, this could be it, actually. AJ, a lot of twists. Wonder! Whenever NRG have scored first, pass to Garrett from Fireburner. What a play! I mean, he just wins cleanly in midfield. The pass to Rizzo's there. It's shot's good. Cloud9, though, they answer with some pressure. Just can't come away with anything yet. But this time they're finding each other in the middle of the field. Oh! Under Squishy Muffins, you are ridiculous! Rizzo around the corner. Forces it back, Chicago shoots, he gets it in, and G2 have put the pressure on.
With G2 slamming the door on Cloud9 and NRG earning 2 more wins, our top 2 spots are locked in. As for the rest of the playoff picture, Rogue and Ghost sneak in while Evil Geniuses join Splice out in the cold of relegation. With so many storylines from week 5 and of course the playoffs to look ahead to, who better to call up than my buddy Adam Lawler Thornton. What's up, my buddy?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
What's happening?
It's all good,
Nothing,
man.
just enjoying the time at home while I can.
That's true. Not much there.
Fly out, see you again, right?
Yeah, because RLCS is popping still. But let's dive into last week, of course, the last week of league play. We got to talk about NRG sitting at the top, looking pretty. It wasn't always super clean, but of course, NRG get that perfect 7-0. Is this the scariest we've now seen them ever?
I think you have to say, yeah. I mean, Justin had an MVP caliber season. Fireburner is playing the most consistent we've seen. And talking with their coach and everybody else, like, they've worked on bringing a level of consistency to their game to where no matter what the match is, no matter what time it is, it's always going to be a certain level. And then when Justin or Garrett or whoever pops off, it just heightens that even more. So, yeah, I think so. I mean, they're playing the best they've ever played. Their level of consistency is way higher than we've ever seen. And they're undefeated. So what's to argue?
It's nuts. Like literally Justin can do anything, I feel.
And it feels like Garrett can do the same right now. Neither of them can do any wrong.
When Garrett is the least talked about player on your team, you know the team's
That's a good team, yeah. Jesus.
So our other top 2 team was G2. They kind of were a darker horse for the top 2 spots until right at the 11th hour. How have you seen them kind of come into their own as the season has gone on?
I'm still not completely sold.
Same.
They're good, don't get me wrong. Like, they're super competitive. It's just, for some reason, I haven't seen a solidified dominant performance from them yet. And I still would, in most cases, give the nod over to Cloud9, which has also been struggling, which is kind of weird. But yeah, for G2, like, Chicago, I think, has definitely proven his worth. We talked about how he has potential to be a top 5 player in the world, or NA for that matter. And he continues to impress, and he still shows that he's MVP caliber for his team. It's just, where is Rizzo fitting in? And I think that's always the question is, do they want him on defense? Do they want him on offense? I personally prefer him on offense because I like his creativity. I like the ability for him to play aggressive.
So then who falls off offense?
Yeah, the demos and stuff are great when he's there, but at the same time, he shows that he's so solidified on defense that it enables JNaps up front. So I think that's where the issue relies is, I don't think we should give them a certain role. I think they should just interchangeably play each position, allow them to rotate as a cohesive unit, and then just fill in where it's suited. Because look at what it does for NRG. NRG has a bunch of mechanical gifted players that it doesn't matter who plays what role, they'll fill in. So if G2 can kind of keep that mentality as well, and then just feel what feels right is what we'll go with, I think G2 could definitely make a good land run because I don't think we've seen one in 3 seasons from them.
It's kind of like what we've seen from C9, even though they've had some ups and downs. Like C9, it kind of does that too. I mean, like we've seen Torment now move up on to offense, and all 3 of them can kind of play everywhere.
I mean, you have to nowadays, right? Like in this day and age of Rocket League, no weak link is allowed in order to become a LAN competitive team. You see on the other side of the coin, like PSG is a prime example. When they play on, they look like a LAN dominant team. Ferris hitting shots, Fruity's playing aggressive, like everybody can do it all. But when they don't, they fall apart and they get stomped because of how competitive it is at the top level nowadays. So in order for G2 to be competitive, for Cloud9 to be competitive, Cloud9's been able to get away with it, I think. They always have these 2 players between Squish and Gimmick that just are super good. But when one plays lackluster, Torment steps up and it's fine. I don't think they can get away with that anymore.
And speaking of not getting away with it, they're kind of their woes continue. Granted, they had a really, really tough week. They did face NRG and G2. But heading into the playoffs, they're having that rematch against SSG, who also took that that win off them. In terms of that matchup, you're not expecting the same result, I assume, or you think Cloud9 is going to come into this one with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder?
I have literally no concern. I have no concern.
He's like, nah.
They'll be there. So SSG, I think, is a good 4th. I think they're a really solid 4th. They've proven themselves as a rival series team promoting and moving up. I think they're the best one we've seen in comparison to like FlyQuest and Mouse in previous years. But it's Cloud9. Like Squishy, Torment, and Gimmick will be at the World Championship without a doubt in my mind.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, I think that's just kind of a done deal. So why don't we talk about the team they're going to play, SSG. So you think the SSG is going to get knocked down? Because of the Page playoff, they do have a second life. Let's just talk about how they can potentially win in that second match and get into LAN. Because they are the strongest looking team from the rival teams from last season.
Yeah, they look great. So obviously, for those that don't know, there is a new Page playoff system implemented into the RLCS. So in the past, it used to be 3rd seed played 6th seed, 4th seed played 5th seed, and then they just moved forward. And if you lost, you were out. The way that we did it now is that the 3rd and 4th seed have a extra life per se, so seeding is even more important. So if they lose that match, they then drop down to play the 5th, 6th seed match, which benefits the players that have shown their worth throughout the season. So that's great. Space Station has put themselves in a really good position, and I don't think it's a free take yet. Like, Ghost is finally figuring their stuff out. You got Illusion and the rest finally communicating, as Letmir said in his interview last week, that they're finally on the same page, and it shows like they aren't just this team that sits on defense. They clear the ball, they move up with aggression, and they find each other with passes. So I do think Ghost is going to take it over Rogue, just because I haven't seen enough from others other than Kronovi to take that. I think Ghost is going to be a really scary team moving forward. It's just, can they show it consistently, which is always the question for Rocket League, is are you consistent in your gameplay? So
yeah, and I mean, for Leth, it's got to feel pretty good delivering kind of on his promise. After the first 2 weeks, he kind of came out very vocally and was like, you know what?
Well, just needs to stay off Twitter. Just stay off Twitter. Like,
I mean,
what are you doing?
He made a bold claim saying that they were going to make playoffs, and they did it. And as you said, Illusion seems to be really slotting into the system. And now you said that you think they're going to beat Rogue, but against SSG to kind of make that land spot, yes, no, maybe?
Coin toss. It's always a coin toss nowadays. Like, when it comes down to predictions in the RLCS nowadays, just flip a coin and whatever you pick is what you get. Like, I think that one's going to probably go the distance. I think it's going to be a really exciting match to see, like, coming down to the wire. It's a best of 7 as well, which is different. We haven't seen any of these teams play a best of 7 since DreamHack Leipzig. So they did some stuff for like Dallas qualifiers, and Valencia qualifiers are coming up too. But it's interesting to see how the tables turn when you're playing 7 games instead of 5. A little bit more time to adapt. Usually we see it after game 3, and we also see it after game 5, 6. So I'm curious to see how that applies. I haven't seen Space Station play a long series in a while, but usually they're a one-size-fits-all kind of team. They play super aggressive, really fast, aggressive offense with attack and shots, and their accuracy has been their issue. So if they're hitting their shots, then they look great. If they don't, then they're going to have to find a way to bounce back, because Ghost will punish them for that.
Talking about finding a way to bounce back, they're going to have to do it in the promo relegation, because EG, something fell apart. This is the first time we've seen an international trade in Drippe.
It feels so bad.
I know, and it's, I forgot who mentioned
but he's
it,
been
but
the
it's
best
like
performing on the team. I think we both agree. Like, Drippe has been the best performing player on that team. So is it his fault or otherwise?
I might say
another
Classics,
story.
to be honest. I really think
Classics has been consistent. I think he's been consistent, but he's never been anything to carry them to that next level. He hasn't been the catalyst that gets them wins, but he hasn't been the problem either.
So is this
I think
a
this one, it comes, I don't know if it's a failure. Like, we see it in professional sports all the time, where it takes time for a roster to develop. When you have a new coach come in, or any of that kind of stuff, it takes time for people to develop. So yeah, they may find themselves in relegation, but look at the talent on that team. You have a player who's gone to land how many times with how many different rosters and classics. You've got Corrupted G, who's always been a staple of the community, or staple, I should say, not a stable. He's not a horse. And then he is a workhorse, so we'll go with that. And then you have Drippe, who is considered the best player in OCE at one point, and who is playing pretty well. So there is a lot of talent on the team, and I think the talent alone will be able to carry them over the rival series teams trying to play in. But that's not to discredit them. Like, Birds and the Bees and the other teams that are playing up do look pretty solid. So I think we all agree that there is not a surefire win. It is something you have to work towards, and you know Fireworks is going to put those guys through some sort of gauntlet to make sure they're ready. So
yeah, their coach is going to be on fire.
They just got to figure it out. It's figured out, right? It's super easy.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't know, man.
Before we move on to EU, I just want to get your thoughts then. Nick, give me your 4 teams. What are the next 2 teams going to land? I want to see if Lawler agrees.
Other than
so we always have our top 2,
G2
NRG. Who's filling the next 2 spots?
Yeah, probably I like Cloud9 and SSG.
Cloud9, SSG. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think our top 4 seeds are pretty consistent. I just can't give the edge to Ghost yet, but if they're looking hot, like if they come in and they dominate Rogue, watch out. It could be a very big upset. So throwback to Denial days when they came in as 4 seed.
Sad Junior. Wow. Anyways, that's it for NA. We got to move on to EU. So why don't we check out these highlights to get all you guys caught up.
Tigray back down. K-Dop pops it to himself. Flip, reset. Going for it, and oh my, K-Dop!
Trying to respond. And we've seen Tigray in the past. We know what he can do. We know what a lot can do.
The pinch from Vitality! His mark couldn't do it. Speed with some time. Going for a dribble here. Air dribble, the flick, and he finds the upper 90!
Ronicky was able to challenge.
What a
Devo,
bump!
Back in, a miss in the bump.
Oh my goodness!
Up, Devo gets it away from Casio as well. Ronicky now putting it back onto the backboard. He tries to look for a shot, doesn't find a tadpole up to get one more, but the defense double commit opening here for Casio. Drops it in.
Oh,
Bluey falls from the heavens and makes the save. Very quickly beat the inbound rebound. Here comes Violent Panda with the shot. It's off the bottom corner. Now Dribble pulls it in for the follow.
Oh, I thought he got
it in. Violent Panda with a shot, a nice pass play, broken up by the defense, and oh my goodness, what a recovery.
Nothing good just yet. Alpha catches this one, has Fruity to beat Alpha 54. They've had a couple of opportunities in the orange hat, but it's been 2 shots registered on net, and Alpha 54 again, forcing PSG to use a lot of boost. Straight down, can Bluey get there? Oh, Bluey! Get in! Barcelona! Showing their resilience as the shot blocked off the post. Standing was Yukio. It looked like he might have gotten it.
Oh, and they're gonna score!
Speed off the return! No one really able to find a consistent presence in the midfield, but the rebound free off the backboard. Violent Panda, he'll score that. 1-0 for Dignitas.
It came down to the last few games, but Dignitas managed to clutch up and move into the playoffs while FC Barcelona surged into second place. TSM enters the playoffs on a losing streak, and Cooks here and the Bricks are headed for relegation. So much action in Europe to close out league play, so let's start with Dignitas, Lawler. They finally look like they're back in it. I mean, they had a really rough start. You're saying maybe? I think they look like they're kind of back in it.
I mean, for me, Dignitas, I mean, it took them way too long to get to where we expected them to be, and I don't even think they are where we fully expect them to be.
That's because we put an expectation on them, right? And as we should, being a 2-time world champion and having a 3-time world champion, but roster change happened, things change, so... Yeah, I think they're back on the upswing. A lot of that, I do want to credit their organization. They've always put a lot of effort in these guys. Printaville has always loved the Rocket League scene and shown the best for this team. So the fact that they were willing to fly these guys out, put them in a house, give them a place to play together next to each other, I think makes a big difference. I know they're doing it again for playoffs, so I think it'll give them that edge. Dignitas is on the upswing, and we know what they can do when their backs are against the wall.
I feel like they're playing like the 4 million IQ right here. They just wanted people to stop hating them. So they're like,
we're
you know
joking
what?
About this on the
we're gonna do really bad.
We're gonna win DreamHack.
Want us to win again, and then they start winning, and I guarantee you they're gonna win all of LAN. I'm calling it.
That's a bold prediction.
I don't think so.
Well, and they got to get through TSM first, who's had a pretty rough end to the season. They went from probably one of the best teams we had in Europe to losing like 4 in a row, and they're now the bottom seed, even below Dignitas. So now, Laura, talk to me about that matchup, but also how TSM went from looking pretty good to looking...
falling apart.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. They started great, you know. They were undefeated the first week, and then they go from 2nd place all the way to 5th place in one day, and then the next day they lose 2 in a row and they go to 6th place. So they're literally our last seed after starting as what we considered the best, or the 2nd best team behind Vitality. So kind of weird. I don't know. It's like Dignitas 2.0. Like, they're just not playing well. Like, there's no excuse for it. A team that we expect greatness out of, they just aren't hitting their shots. They're not playing as a team. They're not rotating well. So I honestly have no answer as to why they're playing like this, because there's no excuse for it. And it sounds really harsh, but like, we set an expectation of you guys because you are really good. You just won a major back in December at E-League against some of the other best competition, and yet we haven't seen anything to solidify that. Metzenars has shown his worth sometimes. Remco's been playing a little lackluster. Ignite hasn't really been showing his dominance on offense. So I think it's a little bit of everything. It's kind of weird. Especially on a team that I'm a huge fan of.
I'm pretty sure we talked to Achieves, and at the same time he said, I don't know.
Like he was like maybe they're too passive in the midfield. Maybe.
I couldn't figure it out either.
I don't know. Like, they're a team that is primarily defensive. Passive in the midfield is something that is nothing new for them. They do like to sit back. And for some teams, that's a good thing. Like, when you have a team that's really aggressive, rather than trying to beat them to the ball like a Barcelona that's going to probably beat you anyway, you just enable that. You allow them to do that and sit back, because that allows you to conserve your boost and get into a position to challenge that. And that's something that TSM has always done. Clearly, that's not working right now, so maybe they should change it up. Maybe they should play a little bit more aggressive. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. If Ignite starts inserting himself into the offense and just playing this really aggressive role, the rest should be able to follow into suit and support that. It's what allowed them to win at E-League, where they completely shut down Dignitas and completely crushed Cloud9. So I don't know. It's weird from TSM. Maybe they need to change it up.
Speaking of, you mentioned Barcelona there for a bit. They just set a record in the RLCS, coming in as the first Rivals team to make it into LAN.
To make it top. Don't make directly to LAN.
Directly into LAN. Like that.
They
That is.
got an auto bid.
Now, Nick was pointing out that it's a little bit of cheating.
I mean, you've got a world champion and a DreamHack winner.
How's that their fault? They did it the right way, right? Like, you can't discredit what they've done. They had guaranteed spots in the RLCS. They purposely left the RLCS, went through the open qualifier, qualified, dominated the rival series, come into the RLCS, and then placed top 2.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the record is the record.
I'm just calling you out.
And like, this is also after Devo looked like crap. Like, he did not look like top tier.
Well,
Devo fell off
some
hard.
motivational issues, right? You know, he wasn't training as hard, but now it's shown that he's got his heart back in it.
Yeah.
So
too busy playing Arc, man.
Yeah, too busy playing Arc.
So we briefly mentioned on Bluey. We now just talked about Devo, but the third member of that team is one of the ones that I think has been the most impressive to myself and Brody and maybe everybody. For you, in your perspective, Alpha Rookie of the Season for Europe?
Easily Rookie of the Season. You could even consider him MVP mentions. He has been a solidified rock for the team, super consistent, both as a offensive player and defensive player. Like, it doesn't matter what he's been doing, you know he's not the problem. And that's tough to do. You come into an RLCS season where it is probably the most competitive we've ever seen based upon results and otherwise, and you basically solidify yourself as one of the best teams in the world. That's not easy, and the fact that he does it as a rookie is exemplified even more. So that's great. Like, I definitely give him a nod towards MVP this season. It's hard not to.
Yeah, one thing I thought was really good about his gameplay is that he came in clutch in a lot of situations, and he was making solo plays against great teams when SCB really needed those wins.
He's a playmaker.
Exactly, which is not something you see all the time from a rookie.
Yep. No, he's nuts. We got to talk another team. A team that I'm a little bit of on a question mark of right now is Triple Trouble. Like, these guys, they showed up. They took out Vitality one week, and they've been close, even playing against Barcelona. But it's like I still don't know if they have it in them to be at that top. I feel like they may have hit their cap.
They are the same issue, I think, as a lot. Like, they lack that consistency. There's moments where they play up to their competition, they play down to their competition. I speak to it a lot. I think competition breeds excellence. The times that you get to play against teams that are better than you or ones that you challenge yourself on, the longer the series goes, the better, because these guys learn to adapt and they get more out of it. So that's, I think, what makes the teams like SSG and Triple Trouble so dangerous is they bring something new. Even though it's not something that's probably the best, it may not be the greatest passing plays or, you know, the most mechanical skill. It is fast, it's aggressive, and it's in your face. And a lot of these teams don't like that, especially when there's a lot of pressure on the line. They play pretty much with no remorse, and that's scary. So when you have teams like this playing a longer series, you're only going to see them get better, and it gets down to the wire. So I think they do have potential to be a top 2 team in Europe currently. It's just, at what time do we get to see that? You have moments where they beat Vitality. I do think Vitality slacked that week. Vitality is the best team in the world right now, without a doubt in my mind. But SSG and Triple Trouble both have potential for upset.
I might argue NRG in that, but that's for a different time.
That's because you're biased and from North America.
I'm not biased. C9's my favorite team.
You say that, but we all want NRG to win. Don't lie to me, man. Like,
I think Garrett G's earned this one. But that's about 5 times over.
That's another time. We're almost at time for EU, so we do have to talk about the last team that's made huge strides, PSG. Like, they've always been that team that is such a question mark because they get reverse swept so much, but it seems they finally beat their demons.
Yeah, I don't think that's really their story anymore. For me, it's a matter of putting focus on Farah. He is their captain, solidified, and when he is on, they look so good. When he's hitting his shots, like, just that little bit of extra pressure on target is forcing defenders out, and then allows Shawset to move through cleanly. Like, I remember back in Season 3, Season 4, we considered Shawset MVP. He was my MVP, even though he didn't get the pick, because of what he's capable of. And when he's, again, the least talked player on the team, you know something is dangerous, because that means Fruity's inserting himself, and Farah's landing his shots. So I wish that they would show that on a regular basis, but when the competition is as hard as it is, it's not always that easy or that simple. So I need them to find a way to do that against teams like PSG, because against teams like Barcelona, because in their recent matchups, you saw it in Barcelona when they played in DreamHack, they went to a 6-minute overtime to decide who won that series, and then they lost to him again in the lower bracket. So I need some solidified results consistently because, no offense to Fruity, he did have a really rough last week. He did not look good in their final week. So finding a way to make sure that it's all the time, not just like once in a great while, is what will bring PSG to that next level. But we've seen their potential. We know what they're capable of. Don't expect them to be a walk in the park. Like, they make a really strong case for third, fourth. They really do. Because TSM's not doing it. So
yeah, definitely. Don't expect them to be walking the park. Though seems to be kind of the story of Europe every time we talk about Europe. Every single team is tough. So let's close the book here. I'll reverse the question that Brody asked me. Brody, who you got for your top 4 out of Europe?
Top 4 to Europe. Well, of course, we got our 2 that are made in Vitality, Barca. I'd have to say, it's so weird. Like I really.
This one's a lot harder than North America.
Yeah,
I think.
No, it's really difficult. I really don't think TSM's going to be able to pull it together in time. I feel like Dignitas is going to pull through. I can't see a Worlds without Dignitas, and I think PSG again. I think those guys have what it takes in them to get to.
You like the veterans.
Yeah. I'm like, again, like you see someone like Fruity, the energy from a guy like that is just, he just loves that he's even in this. Like, he's like, this is just the coolest thing ever. And that's such a,
guy, man.
Yeah, it's such a good mentality to have, right? Like, that helps your team out so much.
So based upon what you're saying, right? So that means, does PSG qualify through the uppers to you, or do they drop down and have to play another match against Dig or somebody? Because in that case, because in this case, that means that PSG wins against Triple Trouble right away, which I would probably agree to, which means they go to play Barcelona. Yeah. Triple Trouble then drops down and plays Dig or TSM, in your case, Dig.
Yeah.
Triple Trouble over Dig, like, I could see it.
Possibly, but I have to just go with the gut feeling of Dignitas has a plan. They know what they're doing.
It's weird for them to consider they won't be at LAN. Like, the fact that our second match of that day on Sunday is Dignitas or TSM, one of you doesn't go to LAN, like, that's baffling to me.
No, Dignitas is going. They're winning the whole thing. I told you. I already told you the plan.
All right.
All right. 200 IQ, man.
Yeah. Now, I just we got to let you go in a second here, man. But I have one thing I want you to quickly answer here. And a guy online, John, he asked on Reddit, how come a lot of times we see? I'll just paraphrase. A lot of times we see a lot of bad plays, and a lot of times casters seem to seem light of it instead of calling them out. Now, obviously, he doesn't want you to flame them, but should we not be calling out bad plays? And what's the balance you try to find?
So I made a genuine switch personally about that, probably season 5-ish. I've been very critical of players as of late. I think we are now in our 7th season that we have an expectation that's being set, and when people are not performing to the extent that they should be, we should call them out. I don't think we should flame and degrade them and all that kind of stuff. People obviously have off weeks, but there needs to be a little bit of empathy there. But at the same time, if someone makes a mistake, that should be pointed out, and I agree to it. But at the same time, you also have to understand the big picture. Your job as a commentator is to set the atmosphere or tell the story of these players. So when this person is doing something, you try to give them the benefit of the doubt for multiple reasons. Number one, they're a pro. They probably know better than you. Number two, things happen. We don't know if there's a communication breakdown, and it's hard to speculate. Number three, like, they are representing an org. You want to paint these guys in the best light. It is part of your job to say, like, okay, this player is representing X team, and X team doesn't want us crapping on their player in the middle of thousands of people. So
don't sign
that is
player.
Part of it as well, right? Like, there is part of it. So I am notorious, I think, compared to a lot of people. I am pretty brutally honest when it comes to teams. I read that comment. I know he talked about, like, in relegation, I crapped on Rogue because they looked awful. And I said it straight up. And some people appreciate that. Some people get their feelings hurt and take it too seriously. But at the end of the day, like, it's our job to analyze the situation. And if someone is playing underperformed, then yeah, criticize them by all means. I think they're pros. It's the same thing as us. If I do something stupid on broadcast, I expect to get critiqued.
It's the overall picture that you sell. We may sell the positives, you sell the negative. Overall, we understand what's happening, right? But
try to.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's it. All the time we have, dude. We got to let you go, but thanks for calling in, and I'll see you in a few days.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, Nick, we've got like 2 minutes left here, but we got to touch on something. I've been hearing you rant, so I'm going to let you do it. People are bomb reviewing Rocket League on Steam.
Yeah, don't do this, guys. Seriously. Like, okay, so it's obviously in reaction to Epic Games buying Rocket League. And people have just been downvoting, posting negative reviews on Rocket League. don't do this, guys. It's not going to change anything. The deal is done. You're just hurting yourselves, really.
But why not? It shows that I'm really upset about this, and this is how I can get my opinion out.
No.
How else am I supposed to get my opinion out?
I mean, if you really wanted to, if you really wanted to get your opinion out there, you could stop playing Rocket League if you're really that affected. But I see that some of you's got like 10K hours, so I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We've seen so many boycotts. At the same time, this does nothing. Like, there's no, like, just because there's a parent company you don't like buying another company doesn't mean your product's going to change.
We're not even giving it a chance yet. Nothing has happened yet.
That's the thing. Literally nothing has happened. You cannot make any judgments yet at this point. So going and review bombing Rocket League does nothing. And it, like, even and if the game changes, then go and do stuff. But like, I've seen people do this with other games too before, and it's like, what are you accomplishing right now besides showing that you're a little baby? Like, I'm not sure what you can do. Like, there are ways to get around this, like real boycotts. So many people I've seen, they're like, oh, I'm going to boycott, EA, which I did. Right? Like, I did it successfully, but other people are like, I'm going to do it. But like, microtransactions are okay because I'm not actually paying for the game. That's not how boycotts work.
That's not a boycott.
Right? So like, at the end of the day, TLDR, if you're really upset about something, what's the best way to go about this?
Well, like I said, if you're really unhappy about it, don't play the game and don't support Psyonix and/or Epic with your wallet, first of all. And that means not downloading the Epic launcher. That means uninstalling Rocket League and not playing anymore. And also, obviously, I mean, don't harass them or anything like that. Don't say bad things. But if you but there are outlets for you to express your opinion. Just do it in a way that's constructive.
The game has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, I know all of you guys are still going to keep playing Rocket League.
It's the truth.
You're not getting away with Rocket League.
We all love Rocket League a bit too much.
You're not getting away with it. Anyways, we are done here. Nick, I know you're hyped for playoffs. I'm hyped for playoffs, and hope you find people at home are too. Tomorrow on the show, it's an FPS doubleheader as Marissa and Zurich will be tackling IEM Sydney and CWL London. Until then, get more Squad in your diet by checking out our socials at Squad State. We'll see you later.
Thanks, boys, for catching us up on everything Rocket League, and quick shout out to Red Bull as well for fueling us in the green room. Remember, we're back tomorrow in the green room playing more games at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're back that night with the new Unmuted and a very stacked Esports in 30 because we're talking about CSGO and Call of Duty. Until then, you can catch us on all our socials at Squad State, so we'll see you tomorrow.